A lonely, storm-swept and uninhabited rock in the vast wastes of the North Atlantic has assumed a significance far outweighing its tiny size. Rockall Island would assume great importance during the Cold War, when it was firstly annexed by Britain in what would prove to be the very last colony added to a disappearing empire. It's a story of explorers, missiles, and adventurers in the literal middle of nowhere. Rockall Islet lies 301 kilometres, or 187 miles west of Scotland, and 700 kilometres, or 430 miles south of Iceland. It was first noted on sailors' charts in the 16th century, but no one was much interested, and for hundreds of years no nation claimed it. Rockall is actually the visible part of a submerged reef, 25 metres or 80 feet wide, and 31 metres or 100 feet long at its base. It is quite short, with winter waves often washing right over it. At its tallest point it stands just over 17 metres or 56 feet above sea level. The only inhabitants are seabirds. The first recorded landing by a human on Rockall was on the 8th of July 1810, when Royal Navy officer Basil Hall and a landing party from the frigate HMS Endymion made it to the summit. Rockall was first precisely charted by Royal Navy surveyor Captain Vidal in 1831 and was first explored scientifically in 1896. But nobody thought to add Rockall to the British Empire until the 1950s. The reason why the British were suddenly interested in Rockall was because of the Cold War. Britain was about to test fire its first guided nuclear weapon, an American Corporal Missile. The missile would launch from the Scottish island of South Uist out over the North Atlantic. It would pass over Rockall. The British Admiralty feared that the Soviets would set up some kind of observation or monitoring station on Rockall, which belonged to no country. The government moved quickly to forestall any such intentions. In April 1955, the Royal Navy was ordered to annex Rockall and incorporate it into the shrinking British Empire post-haste. The trouble was, Rockall is such a godforsaken place, and landing on it is so difficult, that a plan had to be hatched to deal with the logistics. HMS Vidal, a survey ship that had been coincidentally named after Captain Vidal, who in 1831 had first accurately charted the islet, was sent. As well as depth chargers, the Vidal was equipped with a Westland Dragonfly helicopter, which would prove extremely useful. The operation to annex the last piece of real estate to be added to the British Empire occurred on the 18th of September 1955, when the Dragonfly airlifted Lieutenant Commander Desmond Scott, Sergeant Brian Peel and Corporal A.A. Fraser, both of the latter from the Royal Marines, and civilian naturalist and former Royal Marine James Fisher, onto Hall's Ledge, which is the only flat area on the islet. A flagpole was hammered into place and the Union flag run up as the men saluted. Then a brass plaque was cemented into place announcing that Rockall is British territory and annexed in the name of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Did you receive your orders direct from the Queen, Commander Connell?
I did. I had an instruction from Her Majesty to annex the island of Rockall in her name.
The rocket test went ahead without Soviet interference, but there was still a sneaking suspicion that some foreign power might yet stake a claim on Rockall. The British military mounted a second expedition to Rockall in 1971. This time the British came in force. Operation Top Hat was mounted from the Royal Fleet auxiliary vessel RFA Engadine and was led by Captain T.R. Kirkpatrick of the Royal Engineers. With him were personnel from the Royal Navy, Royal Marines, Army and civilian geologists. Winched onto Rockall by a Wessex 5 helicopter of the Royal Marines, the party collected rock samples and used explosives to blow the top off the pinnacle in order to receive an automatic light beacon. This measure meant that Rockall was incorporated into the district of Harris in the county of Inverness in Scotland, and most importantly, secured the British government's position as owner of the seabed in the area for 12 nautical miles in all directions. British sovereignty was further cemented when former SAS soldier Tom McLean lived on Rockall between the 26th of May and the 4th of July 1985. So why all the fuss? Well, originally the annexation of Rockall was to do with missile tests in Scotland, but since then the issue has been mineral resources, particularly oil under the seabed and under Rockall. British occupation of the island gives us a 12-mile right in all directions to the mineral wealth below the seabed. So although tiny and insignificant, Rockall may be a very valuable investment for the UK in the future. The resident seabirds have never campaigned for independence, so Rockall will remain part of Britain for the foreseeable future. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also help support my channel at PayPal and Patreon, details in the description box.